the outdoors, they are interacting with the wondrous and literally awesome world that God created. If Jewish educators help them, this can lead our children to establish a close and strong personal relationship with God, sidestepping all the qualms and stumbling blocks that adults face when trying to form a relationship with the creator of the universe. If we begin this at a very, very early age, it can set the foundation for a lifelong connection to God, Judaism, and the miracles of the natural world. For this reason, I wanted to bring early childhood education into today's discussion, and this is exactly the time of year to begin. When children are inside our school, we set the curriculum and build the educational environment. When children's education includes considerable time outdoors in various settings, it is God who sets the curriculum and builds the educational environment. However, this can only blossom when we educators are conscious of this reality and learn ways to utilize this opportunity. If playing outdoors is limited to brief daily slots called recess, and the children are given the same limited equipment, always use the same outdoor space, and teachers see it as break time, it will still be a joy to most of the children, but it does not even touch the range of possibilities, which, just a side note, goes back to what both Bill and Eliot have talked about with intentionality and really taking each thing that's done and putting it within this framework of educational vision and reaching. If the teachers see the outdoors as an extension of the classroom with as many, if not more, chances for learning literacy outdoors as bringing them closer to God, then the possibilities are endless. And she gave a couple of suggestions of ways to think about, some of which included spotting the moon on a cloudy winter afternoon and bringing in Rosh Chodesh as a discussion, documenting the building of a bird's nest, sketching flowers and butterflies, growing herbs, which leads back to much of what the last two presenters have talked about, and taking nature walks and short hikes. Again, these can be enjoyable activities, but they can be so much more when the teacher is fully aware of the spiritual opportunities. So I just wanted to bring in that suggestion, and now at this point I will unmute everybody, or at least try to. And I would like to open the floor up to, we have about 10 more minutes left for discussion. Does anybody have a question?
I do, Susie. I thought that you were going to talk about how we can do it in a classroom or bring it back to the classroom, and there didn't seem to be a lot of that. There was a suggestion about doing stuff, but I don't see how, if we are working in settings where we don't have a lot of outdoor space.
Tina, this is Elliot, can I answer that?
Of course.
Okay, so Susie, I'll give you three concrete examples, and all of these I actually worked in a school in Palo Alto where our schoolyard had after-water plants to save water. So three concrete examples. One, you have to think about nature education as a little more broadly than simply growing a garden. Because not everybody has a space for a garden or obviously has time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pretty amazing. So, number one, spirituality. You absolutely can talk about, can teach about God when you're in a classroom, or I'm assuming the classroom there's a way to get outside, even if what they're doing is getting outside. So I could teach a lesson about God in Radical Amazement if I was in Secaucus, New Jersey, along the highway. Because when you're there, you're still looking at absolutely amazing things. You might be looking at a bridge above you. You might be looking at, grass or weeds that are growing and somehow growing from the middle of the tarmac. You might look up and see a bird's nest right there under the bridge. And right there, the fact is in this, I always use Secaucus as like the most non-natural place in the world. And yet, right there is still God, and you can still see godly things. So even the moon on an early Friday afternoon shines in Secaucus, and as you could make a sundial also and teach about how teach about the sun and the rising and setting of the sun, and how it is that as Jews we actually use the moon to tell time and not the sun. That's number one. Number two, in any classroom, you can absolutely grow things in windows. And even if you're only in a classroom, if you're in a classroom every day, awesome. If you're only there twice a week, you can still grow things in a window and do many of the gardens that Bill was describing, you could still do in a classroom. Number 3, you could be teaching about just resources, natural resources, the garbage example. If you did a garbage audit every day or every, third day in your class about what it is that you're throwing out, I think, and what could be recycled, and even trying to figure out whether or not things should be recycled, having a debate, for example, about whether it's better to actually recycle paper with God's name on them or to actually throw it into Geniza. Right there, you take, recycling, which is pretty much a universal value, I think, and turned it into something Jewish. All of those can be done indoors. And I can go on. You're welcome to email me. I can shoot off another few examples to you.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have another question for our presenters or also for one another? Okay, I also saw that somebody typed the question, Janie, I believe you asked a question about whether or not Jesna would be able to create a curriculum bank.
That's right.
Excellent. So what I will do, what I can do, we have the Sosslin Online Resource Center, which if you haven't had a chance to go on and play around on the Sosslin Resource Center, I highly suggest that you take a look and try to do that. It's a clearinghouse of all different resources that we can find. What I will try to do is make sure that we have relevant resources that can be utilized, and then when you go into the Sosslin page, all you'll have to do is just type in outdoor education, and that should bring up different things that you can use. Janie, did you have a question?
No, that was my question. Thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So when I email everything out about the webinar, before we close, I'll let you know about that. Then I will send out the information on different things that are being added up to that site as well. Are there other questions? That was an excellent question. Thank you so much. Last thing that I want to say, as I've just made mention to, this webinar has been recorded. So once it is finished being edited, it will go up onto the Sosslin Online Resource Center, along with all of the materials, the presentations that we saw today, and any other information that was relevant to what we've done, including different resources that were brought up. While I'm actually thinking about it, Eliav, I believe somebody sent you a question about utilizing one of the USY, one of the publications that they have. So we can put that up when we put up the webinar information. So that'll go up there with the other resources. So definitely I'll send out that information to everybody once it's out. I encourage you to share that link, the link to the posted webinar with anybody who you think would be interested. It's going to be free and open to the public, so I hope that it's something that you all utilize. And I also want to let you know to look out for other Quick Bytes in the future. If you were sent the Quick Bytes piece from someone else, and you would like to join the Quick Bytes listserv that is sent out, they're sent out about every 6 to 8 weeks. Let me know, send me an email, and I'm happy to add you on, as well as if you know of anyone else who might be interested. Send their emails or have them send it, and we're happy to add you on. So with that, I want to say thank you so much to our two presenters, Rabbi Eliav Bach and Bill Kaplan. Thank you so much. This was insightful. This was really interesting. Personally, I appreciated all of the different ideas and thoughts that you put forward as to what this is and how it can be replicated. It's really incredible work that you're doing, and so thank you so much. And otherwise, I want to wish everybody a Shana Tova Umetuka. Have a wonderful, safe, happy, healthy, and sweet New Year. Thank you all for participating.
You too.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Bye-bye.